Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I finally got to the end of my gay movie marathon, and I have indeed left the best for last, the 2015 film Holding the Man, which is based on the book by Timothy Congreve, which is a classic. It was later turned into a play by Tommy Murphy, and I'm really glad that I read the book and saw the play years before the film. And I was fortunate enough to actually be in the film as an extra, so I might be a little bit biased because just being on the set for a few days and being in a few scenes, I feel like I was there. And I am visible for a couple of seconds, but, you know, I'm just an extra. But it was a really great experience either way. And got my soundtrack signed by the actors, and they had a fundraiser for HIV, a screening that had the actors, the two main actors, and I think the producer, not the director, the producer was there. And they did a talk afterwards and a Q&A and all that. And it was just a really great experience. Now, the film itself, the story is about two boys who meet in the 70s in high school. Timothy, who is a thespian, and John, who is a football player. They somehow find each other and they fall in love and they date. Now, eventually they get found out, and in the 70s it was a very different climate. It's illegal, and of course the parents try and stop them from seeing each other, but they see each other anyway. They stay together into the 80s. Unfortunately, John wanted to go to NIDA, and he had to go to Sydney to do that, and while he was in Sydney he wanted to have an open relationship. And this was around, 1981, so you can guess what happened there. He got HIV from one of his partners, and then him and John got back together and he gave it to John. Now, when they got tested, because years later he was writing a play on HIV and they were interviewing a guy, and then they got tested after that. And John was sick and got sick first and was in worse shape. So they assumed that he had had it longer and given it to Tim, but Tim found out later through a blood donation in 1981 that he actually had HIV first, and he had actually given it to John. And so he was the one who didn't want a monogamous relationship. John did. John was devastated when he wanted to see other people. As someone who believes in monogamy, and a lot of people think it's unnatural, I believe it's quite doable. I'm sort of on John's side with that, and I wish, had they just stayed together, they could have just bypassed the whole AIDS crisis altogether and just been watching it from the outside. Seeing as they met in the 70s, high school sweethearts, their first, it just could have been a different story. It could have been just what it was like to view it from the outside. But he ends up having to live with the reality that he infected his partner and he has to watch him die. It's pretty horrific. The first part of the film is great when they're just getting together and they're kids. The middle section's a bit backwards and forwards in that, going between the 80s and the 90s. It's fun though. I'm in the scenes from that. I was in a pool in a sauna, and I can see myself. I'm a little bit out of focus, but I can see me in the pool. I nearly got a close up because there was a guy sitting on the edge of the pool, and the director wanted someone to kiss him. And while I was thinking about it, someone else put his hand up, and he's in the shot coming out of the pool and kissing the guy. I could have still got in that shot and I moved over about a foot. But and the other one is during a play. They have a play within the film called Private Lives by Noel Coward, and there's my little flyer that they gave us to hold when we were in the theatre. When John's looking out into the when Tim's looking out for John in the audience, looking through the curtains, I'm on the edge of the curtain at the very end of the shot, and I was nearly in the whole shot because everyone came in one side of the theatre, so there was more people on one side, and the director asked everyone to move over a couple of seats just so it was more central, and I moved 2 seats over out of the shot. The guy next to me is pretty much in the whole shot, and just as it gets to me on the edge of the curtain, it goes to the next shot. But I can still see myself, and if I had swapped over, I would have been turned the other way looking at him, and I would have had a longer shot, but it would have been my bad side, and I just would have hated it anyway, so it's okay. But it was a really great experience being on the film. I was nearly in another scene as an AIDS patient, but I wasn't skinny enough. But yeah, it's just a really great film. It's well acted. Guy Pearce plays Timothy's father. Anthony LaPaglia plays John's father, and Jeffrey Rush plays the drama teacher. And there's a very funny scene where they're doing some acting exercises. And I did drama for a year, and those things are just horrible. You need to be able to do them to actually, they're essential, but they're just, and it's so funny, that scene. But for the most part, like, it's them having a relationship and being in a relationship. The last 20 minutes or so is 20 of the last 30 minutes is John dying, and it's a slow, horrible death, as AIDS was. And the last shot, they pull out, and you see him sitting in the bed, lying in the bed, and both his parents are holding both his hands on each side of the bed, and Tim's behind the father who hated him, touching John's head, and there's a nurse standing by, and you pull out slowly, and then you just hear him breathing, and this laboured breathing just goes on and on and on, and then it just stops. It's heartbreaking. It's really well done. And the last 10 minutes is Timothy trying to finish the book. He died in October 1994, 10 days after he finished the book. He's also writing a play. I don't think he finished that, but it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful film. I can't believe they supposedly made it for $170,000 according to Wikipedia. I can't believe it was that. I can't believe it must have cost more than that. And in America it made just under $1 million. They don't say how much it made in Australia. So, but yeah, I was fortunate enough also to go to, they had a screening for HIV, raising money, which they had, I think, the producer and the two main actors. So they did a Q&A there, and I've got my little signed soundtrack and stuff. It was just a really great experience. It's a great film. I'm glad I was in it. I'm glad that when I watch it, I know sort of what some of those scenes in that were like, and I felt like I was there, like in the movie. It's really weird. It's kind of like when they film something in your area or a building that you sort of know, and then you see it on the screen. It's really weird. But I'm gonna go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the film. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's great. Can't think of anything else. I feel like I'm missing something. I guess it's just because it's the last one. I've watched so many gay films in the last few weeks, and I'm actually at the end until someone makes another great film. I'm gonna go. Bye.